No, mas lilinawin natin. Okay, so Tagalogin ko na nga muna, no? When we say constitutional convention, um, sa iba't ibang or kinatawan ng iba't ibang lugar in different sector, in different parts of the department or different departments, they are the one who will form a constitution. Okay? Through their power of voting. Constitutional convention ang tawag doon. Whereas, the typical constitutional assembly, so those senates or in senates and those who are in congressmen, congresswomen, okay, they're the one who amends or who revise the Constitution. Okay, I hope you get the point, the difference between the Constitutional Assembly. Yung Constitutional Assembly, typical lang siya, di ba? Yung mga nagagawa ng batas, na bumoboto, ano, or nagagawa ng batas. Pagka may mga amendments, sila yung mga senador, congressmen, okay? Whereas sa constitutional convention naman, constitutional assembly yon. Whereas constitutional convention, those nga mga kinatawan ng iba't ibang lugar at sector, sila yung mag-a-amend or bubuo ng constitution. Kapag ka merong mga pagbabago, when there is some changes in the constitution, they are the one who do it. Okay? Constitutional convention, different sectors, so they are asked to do a decision to kumbaga pagbotohan na dapat ganito yung amendment or pagbabago in the constitution. Okay? So that is for constitutional convention. Whereas constitutional assembly yun nga typical. So I think hindi ko na dapat paulit-ulitin. Ano? So ayun lang. Now, the Constitution is written by a constitutional convention, which is a body assembled for the express purpose of framing or writing a constitution, revising an existing one, or proposing amendments to it. So, to give you a concrete example about this word revising and amendments. So, when we say amendments, you have to just modify a specific part of a constitution. Whereas when we speak about revision, you need to something like completely revise or do whole changes in the constitution. So which means revise is more of general, whereas amendment is more of specific. So to give you an example, let's say for example, in terms of revision of the Constitution, in our Constitution, which is democratic type of government, from that, on the terms of the late President Rodrigo Duterte, he imposes that we need to change the type of government we have during that time, you know. So he's saying that we need to have a charter change or what we call the cha-cha. Okay, not a cha-cha dance, okay, but a charter change or cha-cha, which mean pagbobotohan siya, okay, yung cha-cha na yon, i-revise mismo yung constitution from a typical democratic to, sabagay, democratic pa rin naman ang dating ng federal eh. Pero parang pinag-isa na siya yung pagka sinabing federal. So from typical democratic form of government to federal form of government. Yun ang gusto niya pero hindi naman nangyari. Okay? So that is a concrete example of revision of a constitution kasi iibahin mo mismo yung content ng Constitution if you do that. Alright? So, iba na kasi yung form of government yung nasusundan mo. So, mas needed daw natin yung ganun. Pero, ayun, hindi nangyari. Anyway, we have here, after writing the Constitution, after making a draft, okay, the draft Constitution or its amendment revision are submitted to a plebiscite or plebiscite for ratification in which the people will decide whether it is acceptable to become a law of the land. The results are then considered and followed by the government. This is what I am saying before, that in my past lecture, I was not able to clearly explain between the plebiscite and referendum. And now, this point of time, I'm going to explain it to you clearly. So, plebiscite. So, what does it mean by plebiscite? So, it is a direct vote in which all members of a particular group or community are asked to express their opinion on a particular issue or proposal. I repeat, it is a direct vote in which all members of a particular group or community are asked to express their opinion on a particular issue or proposal. To give you a good example of plebiscite, in which, ang term kasi dito, kumbaga, pagbobotohan, yung mga tinatawag tayong electorate or yung representative na bumoto. So, if we're going to recall, Constitutional Convention, sino yung electorate doon or representative doon? Diba? Yung different sectors of the government in Constitutional Convention. They are the electorate, or they are the one who are allowed to amend or revise the Constitution. So, in plebiscite or plebiscite, ito na yung term ngayon pagboto na. Kumbaga, magkakaroon na ng agreement, a direct vote in which all members of a particular group or community are asked to express their opinion on a particular issue or proposal. So, what does it mean? To give you a good example of this, in 2021, year 2021, in our country, specifically in the area of Palawan, they are requesting to have a 3 separate region for that Palawan City. They want to kumbagay mahati into 3. Palawan del Norte, Palawan Oriental, and Palawan del Sur. So in that way, doon nalalabas yung tinatawag natin na Palawan plebiscite, in which they have to vote on that particular area or city. Those who are the citizens or those group of people on that specific area are allowed na bumoto, or sabihin na natin umagri ba or mag-no, okay, para doon nahatiin baga yung Palawan into 3 or not, okay. So the main reason for that is some or many of the mamamayan in the Palawan area thinks that more efficient when they are being divided into 3. Okay? So parang ganun, 3 separate area. Palawan del Norte, Palawan Oriental, and del Sur. Mas maging efficient daw yung government kapag ganun. Anyway, to sum it up, para mabilis tayo, the results of the vote, 172,000 no, they are not agreed, or they do not agree on the proposition of separating or dividing the Palawan into 3 different areas. So 172,000 says no, and 102,000 22,000 people says yes. So, in conclusion, hindi natuloy yung separation of the three different area in Palawan. Now, to give you some additional information about the word plebiscite, we have here creation, division, merger, abolishment, or major boundary changes of a province, city, or municipality, or barangay. So, yun pa lang, Palawan plebiscite, magandang example na yon. Kasi nga, plebiscite siya in which magbobotohan kung if there's a changes in terms of the major boundary, okay, in their province of Palawan or in their city. Okay? So, ayun pa lang, lalabas na yung plebiscite. And aside from that, other illustration, we also have the creation of autonomous region. Under pa rin siya ng plebiscite, autonomous regions, creation of autonomous regions. So, what does it mean? So, it is an internal territory of sovereign state that has a degree of autonomy. Internal territory of a sovereign state that has a degree of autonomy. In other words, self-governance. So, what does it mean? To give you a good example for creation of autonomous region under the plebiscite voting, so we have the Bangsamoro Law or the Bangsamoro. So, part of the Philippines is the Bangsamoro. In Bangsamoro, they are asking for their own government, okay? So, their autonomy, their own laws, own rules, or own constitution. Okay? So, but they are still part of our country, of course, in the Philippines. Bangsamoro, part of the Mindanao, I think, something like that. So, in that way, the creation of autonomous region, doon pa lang papatak na yan. So, di ba, yan ay pinagbotohan ng mga electorate or mga representative on that particular area. Okay? So, kung isa sa batas ba yan, no? Let's say na magkakaroon na nga ng Bangsamoro Law na they have their autonomy or they have their internal territory or separate sovereign power. They have their own government. Okay? Yon, mga Muslim. Okay? So, ayan. Anyway, so that's it for a plebiscite. And let's proceed to the next. We have referendum. Pag pala English ang aking discussion, medyo napapahaba. Okay, referendum. In which a law passed by a legislative body is brought before the people to be voted upon. The result, however, may or may not be considered by the state. By the way, in plebiscite, so kailangan talaga siya should be considered or followed by the government in plebiscite. Kaya nga may gano'n na talagang botohan. Ano? Okay? So, na kailangan implement into law. Okay? So, ayan mga ganun plebiscite. It should be followed by the government. Whereas a referendum in which a law passed by a legislative body is brought before the people to voted upon. The result, however, may or may not be considered by the state. So what does it mean? It has the same idea, na voting pa rin ng representative. Okay? But in referendum, ang tawag dito, it is a type of election that seeks the opinion of general public rather than selecting a representative. Para palang mas malawak ang dating yan. It is more broad. Okay? Than plebiscite. Okay? When we compare referendum to plebiscite. It's a type of election that seeks the opinion of general public rather than selecting a representative. So, the disadvantage is that the result, however, may or may not be considered by the state, whereas ito talaga, it should be considered or followed by the government or the state. So in here, to give you a good example under the referendum, so let's say, for the additional lang, information, I don't know kung nakalagay dito, hindi pala, no? Adoption of a new name for the country or a new national anthem or a new seal. So take note of that. Under the referendum, so the illustration is, or the description for that is, adoption a new name for the country or a new national anthem of a new seal. So ganon. Ibig sabihin mas malawak siya. So kung i-amend yung constitution, so yun yung specific that need to change the name of the country. So in the past several years, as far as I remember, merong ganon na nadaanan, na gustong baguhin yung name ng ating country or even the name of our national anthem from what I remember. So, in that way, dyan napapatak yung referendum, magbubutuhan, okay, yung mga representative or delegates for that, So, dun sa adoption of new name for the country or a new national anthem or a new seal. Alright? So, that's it. And aside from that, allowing foreign military troops in the Philippines if Congress requires it. So, that is also under the description of referendum. So, i-allow ba natin yung foreign military troops in the Philippines if necessary, So, that is the decision coming from the Congress. Alright? So, if there is a sudden war, we need to, of course, the government needs to hire from other countries, foreign military troops, something like that, to defend our countries, So, anyway, so I hope that it is clear for you the definition or the difference between the plebiscite or plebiscite and the referendum, and also the Constitutional Convention and Constitutional Assembly. Ating talagang hinimay in every tiny details, okay, for you to clearly understand the concept. Actually, sa iba, pinapasadahan lang to, in-explain lang na may kleda, tapos na, But, sa atin, I need to clarify it sa inyo in every possible detail for you to understand it clearly. Okay, anyway, I think let's proceed to the next classification of a constitution. We have here the classification of a constitution. So, hindi na to bago sa atin. Kasi kanina sinabi ko, yung written or codified and uncodified or unwritten. So, what does it mean? Babalikan lang natin na mabilis siguro ito since na-review na natin kanina. When we say written, a written constitution is one in which most of its provisions are embodied in a single formal written instrument or instrument. So, yun na nga, given na siya. I think there's no need for me to elaborate it. You already know it, So, it is a work of conscious art and the results of deliberate or of a deliberate effort to lay down a body of fundamental principles under which government shall be recognized or organized, and conducted. So, yun na nga. When we say written, it just means it was written literally in a single format or formal instrument or instrument. Unlike unwritten, by the way, the great or classic example of written constitution is the United States Constitution. Whereas when we talk about unwritten constitution, it is entirely the product of political evolution consisting largely of a mass of customs, usages, and judicial decision, together with a smaller body of statutory enactment of a fundamental character, usually varying different days. So take note of this, varying different days. Okay, there's no specific days in unwritten constitution. So the perfect example of unwritten constitution is United Kingdom, the Great Britain, and any other English constitution. Kasi nga, ano sila ang dating is parliamentary or more of king and queen or monarchy. Okay? So, they are basing their constitution on the customs or the tradition, the common usage or the usage, the judicial decision, etc. Okay, yung mga ganong bagay. And, yun nga, yung mga political dynasty. So, unwritten siya. But, hindi siya directly na ganun ha. May iba pang katawagan or iba pang description kapag sinabi nating unwritten constitution. Pero yun na yun. Okay? Uncodified is equals to unwritten. Okay. Anyway, next. I hope it's clear na sa inyo ha. Ini-skip na natin yung ibang mahabang paliwanag. Hindi naman kailangan at alam kong alam nyo na yun. So, cumulative or evolved and conventional or enacted. So, in here, it has the same idea as written versus unwritten. So, written is to conventional or enacted, whereas cumulative or evolved is unwritten. So, parang ganun din yung idea. Somewhat the same idea. A constitution is cumulative or evolved when it has its origin mainly in custom. Okay, same description doon kanina sa unwritten, common law, principles, decision of course. It is the product of historical evolution and growth rather than of deliberate and formal enactment. It has no formal starting point. Is not struck off at a specific date, and it changes by slow gradual accretion rather than by formal legal process. So, which mean, ito, conventional naman or enacted. Ito naman is formulated usually by a constitutional assembly or council. Kumbaga, formal talaga. Kasi kung babalikan natin, di ba, Kongreso, yung pinag-uusapan natin when we speak about constitutional assembly. So, yun yung conventional or enacted formally. Okay, yung constitution. It is struck off at a definite time and place. Okay, may specific time and day. Okay, yung constitution. Let's say, for example, the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines. Okay, so, ayan. Anyway, next. Sige, bilitan na natin. Rigid and flexible. A rigid constitution, somewhat the same also the idea. Okay, when we compare it to the other terms of cumulative. Okay, so, conventional is to rigid and also written. Whereas flexible is to cumulative and to unwritten. Something like that. So, a rigid constitution is one that can be amended only by a formal and usually difficult process, while a flexible is one that can be altered by the same body that makes ordinary laws of the state. So, as we mentioned before, a flexible is related, for example, to the United Kingdom, in which the law or the constitution can be altered by the same body that makes ordinary laws of the state, which mean the Prime Minister itself, they have the control dun sa tatlo. And easily can be altered yung kanilang constitution and easily na mapatalsik yung Prime Minister. By the way, to add, in terms of parliamentary form of government, So in parliamentary form of government, so there is no separation of the branches of government as compared to the presidential, given na yan, 3-in-1 sa parliamentary, and also in terms of the span or terms of government, so we have 6 years in presidential, whereas in parliamentary, there is no fixed span or terms of leadership or the prime minister. So, in any given point or sabihin na natin kahit ano man yan talaga as in the people on that country under the parliamentary system, they have the rights to kumbaga patalsikin yung prime minister in any time. Okay? So, ganon. In what way? Vote of no confidence. So, take note of that. So, may tinatawag sa parliamentary system na vote of no confidence. Okay? Siguro, tignan nyo na lang yung exact definition yan sa dictionary. Ano? Pero, the idea is, the people has or have the rights to kumbaga tanggalin sa pwesto yung president or yung prime minister to be exact on that country under the parliamentary system of government. Okay? So, ayan. So, pero sige, basahin ko. Teka lang Okay, open lang. Hindi ko alam kung may nakalagay doon sa dictionary na tinatawag natin eksakto. Vote of no confidence. Basahin ko lang. Okay. So, hindi ako sanay na nagbabasa lang sa notes. Kumbaga, more on recalling talaga ako. Or in my own words lang sinasabi ko. So, dito sa dictionary, vote of no confidence, a formal vote by which the members of a legislature or similar deliberative body indicate that they no longer support a leader or government. Yun na nga, papatalsikin nila. So, they are forced to resign, okay, sa kanilang position. So, ganun lang. Tinatawag siya na vote of no confidence under the parliamentary system. Anyway, the next, we have here example of rigid constitution are those of the Philippines and United States, while flexible constitution includes those of Great Britain, Hungary, Italy, and Spain. Mga English constitution to flexible. Yun na nga, isabi na natin. And this is the concrete example of the written, enacted, and rigid constitution. Kasi yung halimbawa, 1897 biyak na bato constitution in the Philippines, I think it is not written, which means it is not written in a single document. It was written on a different document, That is why hindi siya pwedeng ilagay sa classification of written. It was unwritten. The 1897 biyak na bato constitution. Anyway, so this is the perfect example of written, enacted, and rigid constitution. The 1987, the updated version of our constitution, of the Philippines after the Ferdinand Marcos regime. So dito, letter D. Sa letter D, kung nakikita sa akin yung screen na malinaw, so nakalagay dyan, essential qualities of a good written constitution. Ano ba yung masasabi natin para masabi nga natin na ang isang constitution ay naisusulat in qualities or high qualities, di ba? So, may mga criteria. Kahit sa anumang mga bagay, di ba? Kahit anumang mga pagsulat, tinitingnan natin yung mga iba't ibang criteria para masabi natin high quality ba ito or hindi. Okay? So, dito, sa pagsulat ng constitution. So, nakalagay dyan, a good written constitution must be broad, brief, and definite. So, una muna, yung tinatawag nating broad. It is broad in the sense that it outlines an organization of the government for the whole state. So, ibig sabihin, dapat siya is comprehensive as possible. Yung Constitution, yung pagkakasulat yan. O, broad siya, pero comprehensive as possible. Ibig sabihin, maintindihan ng mga magbabasa nito, yung mga outlines na nakalagay, nakapaloob dun sa Constitution, sa sangay ng mga gobyerno or sangay ng gobyerno. So, ganun lang. Kaya kung makikita natin, naka-outline siya, no? Di ba? Okay? Sa iba't ibang artikulo. Broad nga yung sinasabi natin. It is broad in the sense that it outlines an organization of the government for the whole state. Okay, next. Brief because its nature requires that only its great outline should be marked, its important object designated, and the major or minor ingredients which compose those objects be deducted from the nature of the object themselves. So, kapag kasi daw masyadong malawak in the sense na malawak yung pagkakagawa, no? Parang contradictory sa broad. Pero ibang usap yan, ha? If it is too detailed, it would lose the advantage of a fundamental. Sige, himayin natin. Baka kayo malito sa sinasabi ko. Ayaw kong nalilito kayo. So, sa broad, ang sinasabi natin dito, yung broad na iba't ibang sangay ng government, di ba? Meron tayong mga family, meron tayong rights as an individual, yung mga freedom of rights natin, merong rights about sa government mismo, mga ganon, judicial department, etc., mga ganon. So, in that way, masasabi natin broad, okay, na tumutukoy sa ating state, yung nakapaloob doon lahat. And, nilagay yun sa Constitution. Yun ang broad. Ngayon, dito sa brief, okay, its nature requires that only its great outline should be marked, its important object designated, and the minor ingredients which compose those objects be deducted from the nature of the object themselves. So, ito na yung nakapaloob sa bawat sangay na artikulo na yan. Dapat brief lang daw yung nakalagay, hindi masyadong malawak yung nakalagay na description doon, mga ganun. Okay? So, ayun lang. Next, we have definite. Since any vagueness resulting from the opposing interpretation of the constitutional provision may cause incalculable harm and chaos to the nation. Ganito kasi ang idea dyan daw, So, kapag sinabi natin definite, kailangan, dun sa nakalagay or nakasulat sa Constitution, it should be clearly stated or not ambiguous. Kaya ngayon, vagueness. So, ibig sabihin, para hindi mag-iba-iba yung interpretation natin, kailangan parang simplihan lang yung datingan kapag binabasa natin yung Constitution na maintindihan ng lahat. At dyan ngayon papasok yung definite. Okay? So, sa pinag-uusapan natin Constitution. Pero ibang usap sa ibang libro, let's say for example, Bible nga, di ba? May nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang interpretation at bumubuo rin ng iba't ibang relihiyon kasi iba-iba yung kanilang interpretation. So, ibang usap yan. Huwag natin pag-usapan kasi it's about politics naman natin pinag-usapan ng Constitution. Okay? Mahabang usap yung mga ganun. Pero, pwede kong explain yung mga ganun if we have time. But since ang ating dinidiscuss is about politics, is about Constitution, so concentrate lang tayo dito. So, ayan. Dapat definite lang, yung nakasaad dun sa Constitution. Alright. So, I think, let's proceed to the next. So, parts of the Philippine Constitution. Meron tayong 3. Sige, isa-isa natin. Actually, ito na yung last part, So, bago tayo matapos. So, ito na yung last part ng ating discussion dito. So, parts of the Philippine Constitution. So, Constitution of Government. This portion of the Constitution describes the framework of government and its power and also defines the electorate. So, ang mas pinaka-emphasis dito, syempre, yung puwersa or power ng gobyerno. Okay? And nakalagay dyan, and defines the electorate or yung mga naboto. Okay? Electorate nga or representative pala kung masasabi natin. Okay? Electorate kapag gano'n. Ngayon, para mabigyan linaw natin, ano ba itong Constitution of Government? Ano ba yung mga nakapaloob dito? Sige, ating tingnan dito sa ating next slide para malinaw. So, dito, tandaan nyo na lang mga number, okay, under ng mga artikulo sa Philippine Constitution, under ng Constitution of Government. We have here Article number 6. So, siguro isulat nyo na lang, Legislative Department. Isa yon under ng Constitution of Government. And then, ang next is Executive Department, which is Article 7. And then next, we have Judicial Department, Article 8. And Article 9, Constitutional Commission. And Article 10, Local Government. In other words, Article 6 to 10 is a Constitution of Government. Okay, so yun ha. So, take down notes nyo na lang sa ating handout, sa ating module, walang mga nakalagay na ganun. Pero sabi ko nga sa inyo, para mas improve, mas maganda is nilalagay natin ng ibang explanation at details pa. So next, we have Constitution of Liberty naman. So dito nakalagay, these parts enumerate the fundamental rights of the people guaranteed under the Constitution. So ano naman ang nakapaloob dito? Sa Constitution of Liberty, ano ba yung mga artikulo na nakapaloob dito sa Constitution of Liberty? Para bang dating from the word itself, liberty, kalayaan, or karapatan, or what, mga ganon related yung mga words na sinasabi ko sa liberty. So, ibig sabihin, itong article number 3, Bill of Rights, karapatan, natin din yan, di ba? Bill of Rights. So, kasama yan sa Constitution of Liberty. And aside from that, yung citizenship, Article 4, Article 5, suffrage. So, kasama yan sa Bill of Rights. Ha? So, take down notes nyo na lang. And then, Article number 12, national economy and patrimony. And Article 13, social justice and human rights. Yan na pala, no? And then, Article number 14, education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports. Okay? So, Bill of Rights, Constitution of Liberty pa rin yan. Okay? Yung usaping mga ganyan. And, kasama rin daw yung Article 15, the family. Ulitin natin, Article 3, 4, 5, tapos 12, 13, 14, and 15. Ano? Yan yung ating Constitution of Liberty. Kumbaga, kalayaan natin or karapatan natin. Ano? Okay, Constitution of Liberty. Let's say, for example, ito, i-connect ako lang sa real life situation para makarelate tayo. Education, Article 14. Education, Science and Technology, Arts, Culture, and Sport. Doon pa lang sa education, di ba, may program ng government in terms of the public school, di ba, libre yung tuition, ganon. So, meron ka lang mga konti na bayaran, mga kung ano man, di ba? Pero, summarize dyan is libre yung tuition, di ba? So, kasi, in terms of education, yung gobyerno, yung sumasambot sa mga bayarin, through taxes na nakokolekta nila, at kaya sila nagkakaroon ng budget about sa mga ganong usap. So, yan, Article 14 Education. Yan, akala ka na nagta sa inyo, since tayo naman ay nasa public school. Anyway, so, ayun lang, and then, ano pa? Okay lang, okay na yun, Constitution of Sovereignty naman. Huwag natin masyadong pahabain. Actually, medyo marami akong pwedeng masyadong mahabang sabihin dyan Constitution of Sovereignty muna tayo dito. Dito sa last. So, sa Constitution of Sovereignty, ito lang ang nakalagay sa module natin This part indicates the manner of amending or revising the Constitution. And that's all. So, ganun lang nakalagay. Ngayon, dagdagan natin. So, sa Constitution of Sovereignty, ito na yon yung Article number 2. So, sila na yung idea taga-amend or taga-revise ng Constitution, yung sangay ng gobyerno. We have Article number 2, Declaration of Principles and State Policy, Section 1. Then, Article 17, alright? Take down notes na lang amendments or revision, and also, pwede rin tong Article 18, bagaman wala nakalagay sa ating notes, transitory provision. Yan yung sa Constitution of Sovereignty. Ulitin lang natin Article number 2, Section 1, Article number 12, Article number 17, and Article number 18. Yun yung sa Constitution of sovereignty. Okay? So, yun lang naman yun. So, I hope clear na sa inyo ha yung mga classification of parts of the Philippine Constitution. Okay? Hinimay natin ng maigi para maintindihan